run the camera from both sides actually. See which one generates the best looking thing. Alright, so let's get started because today we'll do both we'll just cover some materials from slides and then we'll do some actual hands-on application stuff, okay? Alright, so today's all about what I call map mechanics. We did event mechanics, so the wrapper around a match, you know, the arriving, the weigh-in, the pre-meet, all that stuff, right?
Right.
So now let's get into the, you know, the meat of it, which is a series of matches you will do and officiate. So what is map mechanics? Well, this is just sort of describes the conduct and actions of the official while they're administering a match. So we talked about a dual meet, now we're talking about a match. Okay. So the thing that we're trying to address here is how to be effective in administering, to do it consistently and do it effectively. Okay. So what we'll cover today, we'll go through start of match, getting them in starting positions, starting and stopping action, what you want to be doing in terms of your positioning. We'll talk about signals, how to do signals. My book Bob, of course, has a, you know, he does it according to the way the book says, so some officials don't. Talk about violations, potentially dangerous situations. So both those 5 and 6 are just around the safety aspect of it, okay? End of match procedures, so if somebody wants to be upon the curve. We're going to talk about how you want to run that thing, and we'll hit on coaches' conferences again. We hit that pretty good last time, so we won't spend too much time on it. So start of match. There's a thing I call the close-in start. Okay, the close-in start was emphasized and, in a sense, sort of put into place by the Federation about 15 years ago. It was in order to prevent injuries because guys, if they jump the gun and they full on attack somebody and you're only like this far apart from each other, right? Hyperextend your knee, break your ankle or something, right? Because you're not ready and I go before the whistle. So the close-in start was intended to be the thing that says, okay, we got to stop that from happening. Now, what happens is there, and I'm going to teach a technique here that it allows you to prevent that stuff from happening, but doesn't get in the way of wrestlers. Too many officials, when they do this, and they do this like in the Midwest and the East Coast and all these sort of high-level places where they're the quote better officials because they have NCAA wrestling and they influence the high school guys. Like they are freaking getting in the way of the wrestlers and they don't need to. So close-in start. What we're going to do is, as we get ready for a match to start, we want to stand right in the very center of the mat. So I'm going to stand right here, okay? Just like this. Because what I want to do is make sure when these wrestlers come out that they are clear that we are not beginning. Like you are not wrestling with me standing right here. So great. As they come out, we're going to just look at them head to toe, just make sure that, oh, wait a second, he's got a wristwatch on. Like you're going to see this kind of stuff in middle school or in JV, right? Like an experienced kid, like, okay, yeah, you can't have a wristwatch on. Oh, I didn't realize. Like, so just give them a head to toe, make sure there's nothing illegal about their uniform and whatnot, okay? So as they walk out, so each kid walking out after they report to the table. So we're standing here in the middle. They go to the table, and then they're walking onto the mat. Okay. So, and while we're here, they will know. Do not worry. We are not wrestling. If I was standing over here, some guy comes out, and he gets right here, right, and then the next guy comes out. I'm not standing physically in their way. They're thinking to themselves like, we're getting ready to go. Like they don't know. So right in the middle of them. Next thing we're going to do, get confirmation from the table crew that they're ready before you instruct the wrestlers to get into their positions. Okay? So they're sort of like, okay, just going to look at the table, like, and I always cover this with them in the pre-meet, like bring the table crew, sort of like how I will start matches. I will confirm with you, are you ready? And I want you to nod or give me a thumbs up back. if I do this, are you ready? And I've got the kid up working the table with me.
Right.
Like, timer ready. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna wait that, yes, confirmation that you're ready to go, okay? All right, so I'm gonna get that thumbs up from the timer, because they're gonna run the clock, start, stop clock, right? Now that I got the confirmation from them, I'm going to put them in position. And what I do is I tell them, so I'm here, it's like, timer ready? Yes, great. Wrestlers, starting positions. Okay, so here we go. We're already in flight, so sit down and join in. We're talking about how you start a match, okay? So I'm gonna cover this again real quickly. All right, so when it's time to start a match, we already talked about a meet. Now we're talking about how you run a match, okay? You will stand in the very center of the mat, right here, between the starting lines, okay? They are gonna check in at the table and come to the mat. As they check in and come to the mat, you're gonna give them a head to toe, like, okay, shoelaces are tied, don't have like some weird piece of equipment on, I didn't take the warm up off, whatever. Okay, they come out. So if they do have something illegal or not ready to wrestle, you're going to catch that, you're going to penalize them, unless it's like a kid's club, round robin, where you might go, hey, he has to take those warm ups off. Dad or coach, whatever's in the corner, right? But anyway, give them a head to toe. We're standing here because we want to make sure they're not confused. We are not wrestling as long as I'm standing here. Okay? So this is what we're calling the close and start. It's designed to prevent guys from false starting and potentially injuring each other. I actually had this happen at the state tournament this past year. A kid did that and almost lost. He was winning the match by 5 or 6 points, and he almost lost the match because he blew through my close and start before I whistled, and he hyperextended the guy's knee, and the guy went down, and he was on recovery time, and he's just lucky that guy said, okay, I can go, you know, because he could have just laid down and go, no, we're done, I win. Okay, so that's what we're trying to prevent. So as long as we're standing right here, they know they're not going to wrestle, okay? So they come out. Now, we're going to once they're out here now, before we put them in position, we're going to get confirmation from the scores table or the timer, the person running the clock, like, timer ready? And we're going to wait till they give a thumbs up or nod back, like, I want to know. Yes? Okay, great. So we get that for them. Now, number 3 is I'm going to say, we'll tell the wrestlers now, wrestlers, starting positions. So see what I just did here? I'm going to point to the lines. Like, one of the things we have to avoid, like I said, when we verbalize during match, we do not want to be coaching kids. Now, I'm going to give you license when you're dealing with very inexperienced JV kids, Metro League, kids wrestling, middle school stuff, where you know that, okay, these kids are just brand new to the sport, and so I'm going to give you license to be a little more prescriptive or directive to them. So when you're dealing with little kids, and like, they may not understand when you go starting positions. They don't put your foot on the line. Like, so if you have to, you'll say, you know, wrestlers on the line or something. But when I'm dealing with high school varsity, I'm just starting positions. Okay, so I'm literally doing this, and I'm taking one step back here. So I'm starting to extract myself from the very center of the mat. Okay, so now they know they're going to start getting in position to put their foot on the line. Okay. Now the wrestlers starting positions. So watch what happens next here. Shake hands. See what I do with my other foot? Now I'm no longer blocking them. What is blocking them is my arms. I have this sort of toll gate here. So shake hands. So you see in the picture there, that same thing, where now the second foot moved back. I used to be standing right there in the WIA logo. Now I'm starting to extract myself from there, okay? And then the thing is, what we're trying to avoid here, the note I'm calling out here is, once these wrestlers, especially higher level wrestlers, they're spring loaded. You put them in this position, they want to go. Like, when I was in college, I made my bread and butter. I had a 90% takedown rate, okay? And the only reason I was not some takedown artist, it's only because I would shoot it immediately off the whistle. There was none of this, oh, let's start mess with the head and circle around a little bit and let's get comfortable first. Like, no fair shooting yet. let's tie up. Let's just get comfortable first before anybody does anything. It's like, no, ready? You know, and it's like, holy cow, the guy's on my leg. Like, okay, so anyway, they're spring loaded, right? They might be ready to just unleash. So that's why we don't want to put them in position until everything's ready to go. So that's why we are confirming that that timer's ready, okay? Like, here's what happens a lot of times. And now that you know this, like, when you watch other people officiate, you'll see this kind of stuff. Okay, you know, they come out, and they're not blocking them or whatever, or they might be. They might, you know, normally what a lot of them will do is they'll sort of step into here to block them on a close and start, and they'll get them in position, and then they'll go, oh, timer, oh, the clock, can you, get it down to, reset the clock there, and okay, ready, okay. And these guys are like standing there, they're like ready to go, and then suddenly this guy's spinning around, oh, yeah, it still says 3-1 from the last match, can you get that 0-0, yeah, clock to 2 minutes, okay, great, go. So, you don't want them in position until everything's ready to go, okay? That's what this is leading you to, right? It's a preventive officiating thing, so now, okay, starting positions, shake hands, and then as we blow the whistle, we're stepping back again. So guess what? Now I'm like completely out of their way. So now nothing blocks me or blocks them from attacking, right? Now, and then once starting positions, shake hands. Look how far away I am now. It can just be wrestling now, okay? So I just keep my continuum so that I go beyond the 10-foot circle, right? We want them wrestling in the 10-foot circle, and I don't want to be in there potentially impeding them, okay? So the note here now is that, this is going to eliminate the false starts because we're in close, locking them with the toll gate. Your card may now go through, right? And I don't want to be in the way if somebody wants to attack immediately, okay? And then if you do this consistently, it's a smooth start, trouble-free, okay? So here's just some illustrations of, these are in the state tournament. That guy just blew the whistle. Look where his leg is relative. Like, can that guy shoot in? Someday somebody ought to pay a price. Like, that kid should just blow right through his knee. And when he's going to the hospital, the rest of the officials will go, holy cow. Should we be like right there? No, I don't think you should. More examples. State tournament. In both cases, the whistle has already been blown, so he's racing. Look where he is. He's like literally rubbing up against both of them. So you don't want to be in their way. Okay? Same thing here. Like where I start, like that's where he is when he's blown the whistle right there. So that's not what we want to be doing. Okay? So let's do this. Let's do a practical exercise now. So you be first. Jamal and I will be the wrestlers. So Turner, 101 pounds.
Scoreboard, timer.
Okay, so one thing I didn't say is let's do this. Also, as part of your preventive officiating. So before we've checked in, so here we are. We're the last match. The last match ends. He won somehow. I don't know how that happened. And then we go crossover to shake the other coach's hand, right, and hug each other, and then we're back. So while that's happening now, and we're about to have two other people sort of check in and come to the mat. That's when the first thing I'm doing when I'm standing here, I'm going to look at that scoreboard. And when I pre-meet these people at the table, what I tell them is, I'll look up there, and if everything it's 2 minutes, period 1, 0-0, all that stuff, then I know we should be ready. But I'm going to confirm with you. So that's my signal. Like before I would ever go, hey, table ready. Oh, you're not ready because it still says 7-3, 48 seconds left when you pin the guy in the second round or whatever. Like, so instead, I'm standing here as they're sort of crossing over and everything's clearing out. Like, I'm looking at that scoreboard, okay, and she's resetting everything. Period 1. Sometimes I'll catch something like that. Still says period 3. There's a hey, period 1. Oh, okay, there we go. So yeah, and now as we check in, okay, turn 1. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
And then,
So there's a little dance step, right? So first thing is starting positions.
okay, so
One
starting
step back.
position.
Okay.
Doesn't matter which, go
No,
ahead.
just
Okay.
whichever habit you develop, right?
Wrestler starting positions. It's okay to say that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're talking to us both.
Alright, wrestler starting positions.
Okay.
Shake hands.
Now, as you say, shake hands, step back again, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna be leaning
Okay.
forward. Yeah, there you go, like that, because
Shake hands.
we'll shake hands like that. Now, sometimes this is the funny kind of stuff that'll happen when you officiate. Like, I have literally had this happen with JV and some junior high stuff in recent years. It's sort of like, I say shake hands, and literally this is real time. Like, shake hands. Okay, you can let go now. Like these kids don't know. Oh, okay, I've got his hand. Like, what next? Oh, I have to let go of that. Okay. So yeah, shake hands.
Shake hands.
All right.
Wrestle.
Boom. Okay, good. Just like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. So do it again. So
Alright.
so you're okay. You're 8.
Ready? Wrestler starting positions. Shake hands. Wrestle.
Excellent. All right, your turn, Jamal. So last match ended. So,
Scoreboard, check.
all right. See, I gotta get more warmed up. She's really tough. I haven't seen her over the years.
Starting positions. Shake hands.
Yeah.
Wrestle.
Okay. So there. So get used to that little dance. Starting positions. Shake hands. It's a 3-step dance. All right. So if you do that, trouble-free, smooth start, consistent, people will love it. Okay. And you won't have, again, sort of that chaos that I really don't like. When I was coaching, I hated that stuff. Like the guys that would go, okay, on lines, here we go. Oh, wait a second. Dude, fix that before you put them in position. Like, you could have been doing that for the last 30 seconds. You've been standing there doing nothing. And all of a sudden, hey, starting positions. Hey, yeah, are you? So, make use of the time, be efficient. Boom. Get these guys out there, get them started. Okay. Awarding choice and starting of wrestling. So that's the neutral position start of a match. Okay. Once subsequent times that we're in the neutral position, let's say that they're neutral and then they go out of bounds, all we're gonna do now is instead of like we have this whole sequence, right, of shaking hands and stuff, it's just what I'll do is I'm just gonna give them the toll gate with one arm, sort of leaning in. So see, because same effect. So I'm cutting out the first 2 steps of the dance there. It's just sort of like, all right, as we're coming back from out of bounds, like, all right, starting positions, Okay. So now awarding the choice and starting positions during a tournament, right? And when you do the JV stuff around here, you're generally not going to have a meet unless you have like 2 schools like Kentwood versus Tahoma, where okay, yeah, they got like a full JV squad, and we're gonna have a match at every weight. If you only have like 5 or 6 exhibitions, it's not really gonna run like a meet. Just run it like a tournament where okay, we're gonna flip the coin and begin the second round. It's full on meet, like in middle school or when you work high school varsity, or if you have by exception, the Kent Meridian versus Kentwood, Tahoma versus Kentwood JV, where it's okay, right? There's full on 14 matches and more maybe. Then we'll have captains. We'll do, all right, red. Tahoma, you win the toss. You want odd or even or whatever. So we'll have. So we have the choice set either because we just flipped the coin or it was dictated by the pre-meet toss. So what we're going to do the way I do this is, whichever color has the choice, I'll hold it with the opposite color band. So if red has the choice, I'm gonna hold it in a green hand. Because what I'm doing is I'm gonna present that to the table, and then I'm gonna signal top, bottom, or neutral. So I want them to see red and red, the table. I don't want the table to be confused. There are a whole bunch of, have you done scores table enough? Like, there's all sorts of confusing mechanics, guys, do. Yeah. Like, what the hell was that? Like, again, he's telling you green, like, told bomber, like, because they'll use the stalling sign sometimes. Okay, you stalling red, and what was that? Like, so, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be clear. If red has the choice, I'm holding it in the green hand. If green has the choice, I'm gonna hold it in the green hand, in the red hand. Because when I signal, it's green and green, okay? So, we're gonna hold it, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna, whoever has a choice, let's say green has choice, and green chooses top, okay? So, we're communicating with the table when we do this, so, you know, and what we'll do is when we ask the wrestler if he's green, and I say, green, it's your choice, top, bottom, neutral, or defer. I'm gonna give him his choices. In the third period, at the start of the third period, defer is not one of the choices. In the ultimate tiebreaker, neutral is not a choice, whatever. Like, so in some cases, you just give them the choices they have, okay? And use the same terminology. I always use top, bottom, neutral, or defer, because some people up. Top, bottom, neutral, or defer. You want to be on the top? You want to be on the bottom? You want to both be neutral? Or you want to defer? Up, what does up mean? It means you want to be on top, you want both guys up, like, so I just use that terminology, and I make them use the terminology back. Top, bottom, neutral, defer, up. Top, bottom, neutral, or defer. Use one of those four. Top, okay, good. So green chooses top. So see how clear that signal is? It's not. Because the person at the table, we want to facilitate their success. So, green. So hold that up, green, just like in the picture there. Yeah. And that in the picture there, I'm saying red chooses bottom. Very deliberate, very clear. Okay, so green chooses top. People in stands, everybody can see that. Okay. Now, I'm going to hold off the green wrestler in this case. The image there, right? Give them sort of the stop signal, like don't get on, okay? And I'm going to instruct red, like red, take your position. So when we get into starting positions, the reason I caution kids on starting positions because it's like a tee shot in golf. It's like a free throw in basketball. You have 100% control. Like we're not wrestling. Nobody's making you do anything right now. It's all up to you. You want to, yeah. You got your own little thing. I'm not going. Hurry up! Like it's like fine. Just you do what you do to get in that position the way you want. Like great. You're in 100% control of this. Your opponent's not touching you. So there's no excuse to do it wrong. If you do it wrong, I'm just going to caution you. Because this is something you just learn and you should do it right. Okay? So as soon as that person, so I'm holding out green in this example here, red, take your position on bottom. Okay? So I'm going to let them get in position. And as soon as they're in position, then I'm going to ask them a simple question. I said, are you set? And because if they're down like this, no, let me kind of a little higher, like, whatever. Like, are you set? Are you set now? Yes. Okay. As soon as that person says yes to me, then I tell them, don't move. Because now I'm going to lock them in that position. I don't want them to cause their opponent to false start by, moving around when the other person starts to get on them and they start adjusting, because that might make this person, we're wrestling. So, you know what? Don't move. Freeze. Great. You got to get in position. I asked you, are you ready? And, no, not yet. Oh, my head, I just want to. All right, that's fine. All right, hey, are you ready now? Yes? Don't move. All right, so pretty straightforward. Okay, so be clear and consistent with the table and with the wrestlers. So we always sort of use same procedure, same terminology with everybody. it flows pretty easily, okay? Now, so red's in position, everything's fine, great. If not everything is fine, I say, okay, are you set? And the person says yes. If something's wrong, like they're not allowed in the defensive starting position, they have to have their knees behind and parallel to the rear line, hands in front of them parallel to the front line. So if they got something like this going on, that's pretty easy to see. Like, I don't want you to ignore stuff, although again, I'm going to give you license with less experienced wrestlers, brand new wrestlers or JV that are brand new, middle school guys that are sort of really brand new or green, you can be a little persuasive, you know, can't touch the lines, okay? Like, you just tell them. But it's high school varsity. Are you set? Yes. If they're doing what I just did with my hands on line, I'll say, you can't touch the lines with your, I'm going to point to them before I ever say anything, because if I use the, oh, all right, caution red, and then the guys move his hands, and they can't touch, oh, I wasn't touching him. So instead it's sort of like, are you set? Yes, okay. You can't touch the lines with your hands there. Oh, caution, first caution red. All right, take your position. And so now hopefully the kids learned, right? It's like, are you set? Or are you set? And sometimes they'll go, is this okay? I don't say, are you set? Remember my pre-meet briefing? Does anybody have any questions about starting positions in the top, bottom, or neutral position? No? All right. Just know I call like probably 24 cautions every night. You get in the wrong position, I'll tell you what you did. Just get in the right position. The sequence is caution, caution, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So when the kid, okay, is that right? Are you set? Yes. Okay. So, all right. So get him in the desired position. Okay. Now we'll call the top guy on. Right. We drop the stop sign. Okay. Green, take your position. Okay. All right. So now when top wrestler gets in their position, and there's no order to how they have to do this. So in the rule book, it describes sort of what the legal starting positions are. Is this the most consequential thing in the world that you're like not 100% enforcing it? No, it's not. It's not. This is the least consequential of any violation in the world because you get 2 cautions before we even penalize you, and it doesn't lead to disqualification. So all that's telling you is that the National Federation says, yeah, this is like the least important violation they could commit. Flagrant misconduct, the most egregious violation you can commit. No warning. As soon as I see it, I call it, and you're rejected. You lose all of your team points. Like death penalty. Death penalty upon witnessing. This thing is sort of like, okay, you got it wrong. Okay, you got it wrong a second time. Like, are you paying attention yet? All right, do I have your attention now? Like, so it's not that serious if you don't get this 100% right. But anyway, there's no order, but they get in position. Okay. So once they both get in position, we're positioning ourselves to be out in front of them, so we can see the palm on the belly, the palm behind the elbow, the head over the mid-on or over the midline of the back. They're not touching them with the back, leg against their rear end or their leg, not straddling their feet. Okay. They got a knee down on the near side, at least one knee, and you could have them both down if they wanted it. So we have to be in position where we can see that. So we're going to tell, once that top person's on now, it's like set. So that means for both wrestlers, nobody move till you hear my whistle. If you do, caution, false start green. And then I'll tell them, remember, I say set, there's a pause, then I blow the whistle. Wait for my whistle. Just like I told you during the preview. Okay, so say set, right? That's a habit you have to get yourself into, just like you. Okay, so, all right, red, are you set? Yes? Okay, green, take your position. And you're just watching, and they're in the proper position, and set. The pause is momentary, and there's no definition. Don't pause excessively. Set. So don't sit there and make them wait like a long time. Usually I have almost no pause, just by habit, because I'm just like, set. I just want them to hear me say set and know that, okay, they're ready to, because yeah, they're spring loaded, they want to go. So I'm sort of like, I don't want to go, set. You're trying to get jump on it. I got you. I'm not trying to get anybody. I'm trying to facilitate that. Set. Okay, so we blow that whistle and we give the NFHS signal for start, which is the arm goes up. In the rule book, it kind of shows it like this, you know, like maybe they depend, you know, but I just do it as a sort of a knife edge, just get the arm up. So arm up above the hand up above the head. Because again, the reason we use the signals and the whistle, the whistle is an auditory signal and the visual is the hand signal. So that when you're in the Tacoma Dome, for instance, like here, people can't always hear your whistle necessarily. They can see your arm move though. You're at the table, keeping the scorebook or doing the timer. You can see that even if you hear a whistle from over there, and then, because we have 24 mats going. So you might not even know that that's my whistle or somebody else's whistle. So you're watching the official to make sure there goes the arm too. Now I know the start clock, right? So that's the awarding of the choice and starting sequence, right? So be consistent with it. We had a problem in the state tournament 3 years ago. One of my colleagues who didn't use the standard signals, what he was doing, because the signal to start is this, your hand starts about waist level and goes up above your head. That's the signal, okay? Instead, what he was doing, gets them in position, and then he puts his hand up here to go, or something like that, or open his fist, or I don't know what it was, or but he does that. So in the finals, the state finals, 4A state finals, the South Kitsap kid and the Puyallup kid are matched up. It's a tight match. The Puyallup kid's on top. I think, yeah, he was on top. This guy gets him in position, puts his hand, the kid starts chopping his arm because he sees the referee raising the hand. Caution, green, false start. And the kid's like, you know, all right, get in position again. All right, set, and he sees the arm going up again. He jumped up. Caution, green again. Now the coach is out of the chair. Hey, you're making my kid jump. You're putting your arm up. Like, well, I haven't blown the whistle yet. Like, but you were moving your arm up. It's confusing him. Confusing all of us. So that's a worst case example. You don't use the right signals and good procedures. Here we are, like I said the other night, like when I talk to the table crew and say one of the last thing we want to do is get inside the wrestler's head. They go, oh crap, like you know, now I have to worry about the weird mechanics of this official. Well, he's trying to win a state title right now. He's got a very tough opponent, and now he's thinking about the referee. So use the standard sequence, a good consistent sequence, standard signals, and you avoid that stuff. Okay. All right. So starting and stopping of action, right? Use proper signals. So the proper signals to start action is this. Arm up with whistle simultaneously. So not it's okay. Stopping action, there's two signals you're going to use to stop action. Well, there's probably three. First one is the standard signal is just the stop sign. So I had to retrain myself about 10 years ago to do this because I used to go like this. Yeah, ooh, two hands, more invisible, like, hey, stop, everybody. Or some guys like doing this or whatever. Like, there's a lot of stuff people are doing. But the NFHS signal is this. Just stop, stop, halt. So that's the signal. Start, stop. So this is the standard signal. Now, other signals you will use to stop action, they're going out of bounds. That's an official NFHS signal that. Now, there's actually a guy that officiates with us, was over in the state of Idaho for a couple of years, and they have NCAA officials over there because the Boise State used to wrestling and stuff, and so their NCAA level officials actually would say, no, you use the stop signal. And then if there's a reason that you're stopping, other than that the time expired, like going out of bounds or whatever, then give that signal after, so. Because they went out of bounds. But we just sort of, it's okay, and it's kind of standard practice. Oh, we're blowing the whistle and making that signal. Okay? So that's the second signal you'll use to stop action. The third you'll probably end up using sometimes like you're indicating some sort of illegal hold. That's what's prompting you to, a guy slams a guy, or he's throwing a phone at you. You're telling the world, don't worry, I see that. Not, hey, he's killing the guy. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. So we, again, same with the out of bounds, it's sort of like, oh, like blowing that hard whistle, throwing that illegal hold signal up so that people know, oh yeah, okay, good, he sees that dangerous hold, right, that's why he's stopping it. Okay. So those are your signals to start and stop action, right? Be aware of where you are relative to the boundary, be aware of things like end of period if possible. Don't spend in general, right? Ideally, you keep your eyes on the wrestlers 100% of the time. This is what I like about having an assistant official. When I brief my crews, when we do assistant officiating, I tell the assistant official, your job is to take care of all the logistics so the other person blowing the whistle can just focus 100% of their vision on the wrestlers. When you're working by yourself, sometimes you're watching the wrestlers and you're glancing up at that clock. Oh, it didn't start. Hey, clock. You're like, because I'm like, and I glance up there and it doesn't say 1:59 or 1:58. It's still 2 minutes. So then it's like, hey, clock. I want to be watching them when I'm working by myself. So if I don't do that, that inexperienced timekeeper, like I may discover later, lots and lots of action, out of bounds. What the heck? It still says 2 minutes. We've been wrestling for 45 seconds or something. So when possible, when you're officiating by yourself, you want to sort of keep little markers of things, sort of like, okay, we went out of bounds, there's, as I'm walking back, it's like, okay, there's 1:32 left in the round, just kind of make a mental note, just in case, again, something happens where I have to sort of go, oh, the clock never stopped, right? So it was 1:32 when we last started, and they were not wrestling for more than 1:32, so that pinfall counts. We wrestled for about a minute. Whether it was 1:05, a minute, not 51 seconds, it doesn't matter. I just know it wasn't 1:32. That fall counts. Okay. So be aware of the situation as buzzer sounds, because some scoring decisions you have to make require what we call reaction time. But when the buzzer goes off or the out of bounds happens, there is no reaction time. It's almost like take a still photo of what's going on at that instant that you're blowing the whistle for out of bounds, because now you don't get to say, well, let me wait for a moment and see if she gets control. It's that moment right now, as the buzzer just went off, or they just fell out of bounds or something, or the blood started flowing, like what was happening at that moment that sort of action has to stop. Okay? So you can be aware of the situation so that you can have, if you have to, you're making that quick judgment on something, right? Now, out of bounds, don't hesitate once, nobody, there are no longer, so come on over here, Jamal. So this is our outer boundary, that's our 10-foot circle, and we're wrestling around here, and he's 1 foot out, 1 foot in, and then I'm doing this right now. Right now, are we okay? Yeah, because there's 2 total supporting points in, right? But then when this happens, just blow it, because what you don't want to have happen is he's standing there like this, and I do one of these, and then, and then I pick him up and I take him down, and it should have stopped right here. Next thing you know, I've got him down on his back, 2-point takedown, I'm working to pin him, no, you know what, that should have never ever happened. And so those are the situations you don't want to be in, where fans or coaches go, you should have called it out, oh my gosh, my kid's getting pinned, and and there's no recourse now. Because in all likelihood, number one, you missed it, and you probably didn't see it, so you just missed it. It's not gonna do me any good. You're like, oh, I wanna have a conference now. Hey, that kid Bob stepped out of bounds. Like, Jamal was the only guy, he had only 1 foot in, the other guy was completely out. Like, I didn't see that. You know, so it's not gonna probably make a difference unless the official goes, oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, that's right, they're out of bounds. So, you know, the rest of that stuff doesn't count. So, yeah, take the takedown off the board. There's no near fall. There was no pin. Even worse, right? So, be aware, watch. The thing about inbounds and out of bounds that actually, because you guys, you've only officiated a little bit and you haven't really officiated extensively, we had to retrain ourselves now that they have this new rule of it's as long as 2 supporting points, either 2 from one person or 1 from each, at least 1 from each is in, we keep wrestling. Really, we got rid of sort of the notion of out of bounds now. All we're looking for is inbounds. So in the situation where we were over there, I'm just looking now to see that there are 2 points in. As soon as there, I don't count 1, 2, like I'm blowing whistle because action stops. We used to have to be concerned about out of bounds, where if both wrestlers had a supporting point out of bounds, then we were going to blow out of bounds. And we have to retrain ourselves because in the situation Jamal and I were in there, before last year, I would have out of bounds because both of them have now a foot out. Now it's like, forget about what's out of bounds and concentrate on what's in bounds. You don't even care what's out of bounds actually in terms of how many body parts are, because all you're looking at is how many body parts are still in bounds. 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, we are. You're just, as long as it's more than 2, you're gonna keep wrestling. So I'm not so worried about what's touching beyond the line anymore. I'm worried about what's touching on the line or inside the line. Okay? Now, when they go out and we blow them out of bounds, we want to hustle them back to the center. The sport of wrestling is designed to be sort of continuous action. Conditioning is an important part of it, right? So there's no lollygagging, taking breaks. So they're like, okay, let's go. Now, what we want to do, always keep the wrestlers in your sight. This will cause you to have to do unnatural things sometimes. So out of bounds, the wrestlers are there. What I don't, in order to get them back to the center, don't go, okay, let's go back to the center, guys. Guess what am I doing wrong here? Yeah, I don't see him. Hey, he just took a swing. I'm like, what? Or, hey, he just spit on the mat. Like, what? Who did? Like, so, out of bounds they go. So, I'm going to be like a sheepdog. All right, let's go back to the center. Like, I'm going to get around. And now they're in my sight the whole time, and I'm sort of crowding. And I'm like, let's go. Like, great. They're getting into their position. All right. So, keep your eyes on them at all times. Get them back to the center expeditiously. If somebody's lollygagging, you can call them for stalling, actually. Let's go back to the center. And this guy decides, let's go. You know, like, he doesn't start moving. It's like, oh, wait, this is a knee pad, too. Like, if it's bad, you can get him for stalling. But we'll keep our eyes on him at all times. Like I said, it'll cause you to do unnatural things. So that's the table over there. And let's say I'm going to take an official's timeout, we're going to have a coach's conference or something, and sort of like, I say, okay, wrestlers, stay in the center. I don't walk back like this. A lot of our colleagues do. I go, stay in the center. I walk like this, because I'm still watching you. What is it, coach? You know, so I got my eyes on them. Or even in a worst case, let's say, oh, is that score right? Oh, yeah, I better go check, because again, there was 98 points in the last 17 seconds. I don't know if they got it all. So wrestlers stay in the center. Don't leave the circle, you'll be penalized. So I'm gonna walk back here. And if it's gonna be something like where I gotta look at the book, so okay, let me see what's in the book here. It's gonna be, I'll walk around the table, so it's like, okay, let's see what's in the book. So that if I'm looking here in my peripheral vision, I still see them. Okay, so it causes you to do unnatural things. To make sure that you, or like sometimes, like I get nervous, like when I'm getting guys into position here, and then this guy wants to go around behind me, like, like I like start stepping back, no, I want you in front of me, I don't want you to even walk around behind me, because I don't know that you're gonna walk around behind me, go, do something like that, right, to some fan or coach or something, so keep them in sight. If there's something wrong with the equipment, either it's illegal or it starts to come discombobulated, then stop it when there's no significant action, okay? Or if there's an injury risk. Don't stop it if there's significant action and it doesn't, again, it's not some injury risk. So, we're in neutral position, or messing with the head, and the guy's head, you're like, the straps are now in his eyes. You know what? We're gonna stop that because that could be dangerous. This guy can't see very well now, and he's on his feet, he could get hurt. So, okay, you know, my time, right? So, I say my time, go ahead and fix headgear, okay? If the kid's getting pinned, and headgear straps are in his eyes, you know what? You don't really need to see when you're bridging. So, guess what? That's not gonna save you. So keep wrestling. Hey, his headgear! Yeah. I'd worry more about his right shoulder than his headgear straps at the moment, you know? So when it happens, just those are your two criteria. Just use common sense here. Don't stop a takedown, or don't stop a pinning hold because the headgear came off, or it's happened. At state tournament one time, it's a consolation match. The gal from Washington High School is ahead 7-0 going into the third round. The girl in red from, I think it was Cheney or something in Washington, she's on bottom, start third period. I know Green's ahead 7-0. I know she's got this in the bag. Well, sure enough, red with about a minute left, like gets away. Okay, I know. Now in my mind, I know it's 7-1. She's down by 6. A 5-point move ain't gonna save her. She gotta pin this girl, or else figure out a way to score more frequently. So, sure enough, she had head and arms her with about 40 seconds left. Boom, takedown, and now we're looking for a pin. And so, the girl getting pinned, she's trying every trick in the book to get me to blow the whistle. She doesn't want to lose this match, and she's in danger getting pinned. So, my hair cover, her hair cover had indeed come off a little bit, and the hair sort of wanna. Don't worry about that, you know. And then she starts, she goes like this. She had a mouth guard in. She goes, she blew the mouth guard up because she thought, oh, I see a mouth guard up. I'll blow the whistle. No, just keep wrestling. My mouth guard, just keep wrestling. So she's getting pinned still. And then she's like, she's trying to act like she can't breathe. The girl has like a head and arm. She doesn't have anything across her throat. It's around the back of her head. Like, no. We spend the rest of the match there. She ends up winning 7-6. She was trying every trick in the book to get you. Oh, the hair cover. Yeah, that doesn't really matter right now. Oh, out comes the mouth guard. Nope, that's not going to get it either. My shoe, I think it's untied. Nope. Just keep wrestling.
In that situation, you just ignore it and you say, keep wrestling.
If I sense that they are expecting something, like again, I may verbalize it, wrestlers keep wrestling, like, because I don't want the opponent to be like, oh no, yeah, I guess I'm supposed to stop because she doesn't have her mouth guard in, like, so I don't want the opponent to be handicapped. So like this used to be an epidemic back when you were wrestling. This was going on. Sometimes people would cry out, like, oh, I can't breathe, to get off their back, right? It's not so bad anymore, but in the heyday, like 10, 12 years ago when this was going on, I would never tell the inexperienced officials to do this, but as an experienced official, I can gauge the safety. I can see whether or not somebody can or can't breathe, right? So the technique, and I had to do this to a guy at the state tournament one time, River Ridge kid. He's winning, and then he gets thrown. They're in a takedown, so he gets taken down and then put to his back. Now he's losing, and he's in danger of getting pinned, and so he's down there, and the guy again has some sort of head and arm. He's around the back of the neck, holding the arm out like it's not like some sort of it's like this, And it's like, can't breathe. And so the technique I used to, and I still use this, but very, very rarely because it's not an epidemic anymore, but it's sort of like, I just ignore the first time he says that because I can tell he can't breathe. So then he gets louder. I can't breathe! And so my response to the second louder one, which you only get louder if you actually can be breathing and bringing in the air, right? So I go, did you say something? I can't breathe! So, you can't see? No, I can't breathe! and then keep wrestling. You sound fine. And then the guy starts tapping. So this used to happen too. Oh, get off me. And so this guy's losing. We're in the third round. He's on his back. This guy's gonna ride out the rest of the match and win this in this near fall position. He starts tapping. And so my guidance at that point, verbalization, I still do this to this day, is like, I can tell he's not in any jeopardy, he's not choking, he's not like, he wasn't injured when we went down, like, oh, he dislocated his elbow or something. He's been in that position now for like 15, 20 seconds, now suddenly he's starting to do that nonsense. It's like he's doing it, and so I say to him, bottom end, do you want to forfeit? Stop tapping or I'll penalize you. Because when you tap, opponents are sort of, their instinct is, oh, I better relax. Like, oh, you can't breathe. There's something wrong. I gotta let you go. And so I don't want that tapping to continue because I don't want the opponent to like relax. Oh, he's tapping out. I better let him go. So stop tapping or I'll penalize you. Because I would penalize him from sportsmanlike conduct if it keeps up. Like, there's no reason for him to be doing that, especially because he can verbalize. It's different if kid was bundled up in a tight cradle stack or something where it's like, yeah, I don't know if that kid can even talk in there. And when I see that sort of panic, like, that's different than this guy in a loose head and arm who can talk to me, start doing this. You can talk. If there's something wrong, you'd be going, on my neck. Something wrong with my neck, Not this. So you want to forfeit? No. Okay, stop doing that. If you want to get off your back right now, I'll blow the whistle and you lose. So keep it up. Okay, stop it. So illegal equipment, just use your common sense, okay? All right, when you're officiating on the mat, this is some stuff that you need to learn. It can be a little tricky. Learn to keep whistle in your mouth as much as possible. A lot of times I got my tongue in there, right? It's what I don't want to be doing when I'm talking and verbalizing. Takedown. Like, I don't want them to hear a whistle. So, takedown. See how loud I can be even with the whistle in my mouth? So, and the reason why I keep whistling in your mouth is because you have to be ready to like, oh my gosh, like, I have to stop right now. Now, you don't want to go, oh my gosh, he's breaking his neck, like, And now an extra 2, 3, 5 seconds have gone off. So, much as possible, keep it in your mouth. If you take it out of your mouth, keep it close by. Sometimes, like in a place like the Tacoma Dome or loud gym or something, I may take it out to make sure that, that's 2 takedown. Like the kid can't hear, maybe he can't see because he's buried in there, and it's just and I want him to know, that's 2 takedown red, 2 red. And then right back in. So, I'm gonna hold it here, and then back in. Not, 2 takedown red. Oh my gosh, I just doing a illegal hold now. So, 2 takedown red, 2 red. Okay. Your wrestlers, use your wrestling knowledge and anticipate where they're gonna go. When you do the lower level stuff, they will disappoint you and go the wrong way. So you think, line up on that side, so when he stands up, he's going to stand up in this direction. And he's starting to stand up, and you're going, and suddenly he's going that way. Okay. He doesn't know what he's doing, but use your knowledge of the sport, anticipate. It'll help you be in the right position, so that it's like, okay, he's throwing that high half, they're going to start spinning that direction, right? And sometimes it's like, okay, he's not going dead, he's not going over, he's just like, spinning him. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna start circling the other direction because I see what's going on here. Like, so instead of me chasing him around as he's keeps spinning him, because sometimes it might go around 2-3 times. So like, okay, I see where that's going, I'm gonna go this way. Okay, it's still happening, okay. He spins him 3 times, like I'm gonna catch him every time versus, running around, trying to catch up to him. And then he's finally turning him over. Okay, now they have to look that much further to see the shoulders. So, use your anticipation. General rule, sort of stay 2 steps away from them. So, the wrestlers are here. Want to be probably about that far away. I want to be far enough away that I'm not interfering with them. So if they start coming this way, I can be moving out of the way. But I want to be close enough that they can hear me. If I have to say something like, hey, what? Don't take that shoulder any further. Careful with that now. Make sure you can breathe in there. I want them to hear me because some guys that are, like, they think they should officiate like the NCAA officials. The NCAA officials, they go out here to the outer circle and they kind of stand out here. Number one, they don't want to get in the guy's ways, but they're dealing with world-class athletes. They don't have to say things like, hey, careful with that shoulder, Like, hey, that's a freshman. Like, you're a senior, he's a freshman. Like, careful. You're hurting that kid, Like, he doesn't know what he's doing or whatever. Like, so they don't need to worry about that stuff. We do. You have to protect kids sometimes because it's like, oh my gosh, this is like a kid that's been wrestling 6 years against some kid that he was putting the headgear on backwards before he walked out. This is the first time he's ever wrestled a competitive match. He's going to get killed here. And this knucklehead who's experienced is some ruffian who thinks part of the game is intimidating people and making it hurt, So we have to worry about stuff like that. NCAA officials, they don't. Like, those are world-class athletes, the big kids, they'll take care of themselves. So they stand out here. Well, we don't want to be out there because when they're way over there, they can't hear us. And we can't sort of intervene. Because sometimes you do want to, with the younger kids, maybe intervene where you're like, okay, stop, you stop him from like taking that thing too far, that big arm. Like, you might literally, physically. We're told not to do that, but you're gonna. Like, you're not gonna watch some kid get his shoulder blown out because you're there like, hey, careful with that shoulder. And you're stopping it, and you might physically stop him from like doing something like that. So we want to be close enough so that if we have to, we can do that, okay? Use the front quartering approach, meaning if you two are the wrestlers and you are down on the mat or whatever, like you want to be looking at them from the head onward, not from the rear end onward. Because from here, if I'm back there, can't see the locked hands. Can't see him pulling one finger back. No wonder that she let go. Like a person cheating, right? So, but we can see when we're out here. Now, what I call the quartering approach, if you take sort of like, if they're facing this direction, like in a referee's position, head here, rear end, and feet there, sort of take the midline, and let's say this is the midline here, right? Spine, whatever. Like, let's be 45 degrees, within 45 degrees of that midline, either direction. So, out to like here, or out to here, relative to their head. Now we can see. When they start moving, and let's say the net result is I'm sort of like this now, I'm moving, to, again, catch up to the fact that I want to be in that quartering position. There's a sort of a 90-degree angle here that I want to sort of stay in that center. Now I can see stuff. Because again, we can't call something we don't see. Although one time down at Auburn High School, the all SPSL tournament, they would have a couple mats in their gymnastics room, and there were mirrors on the wall. The guy, they're on their feet or whatever, like this, and I'm standing over here. These mirrors are on the wall over there, and then the kid takes it back down like this, and he doesn't let go of these hands. Like, he brought it down, and he wouldn't. And now suddenly I'm out of position, right? Because here's the kid's butts. He's running down that direction, and I'm circling in the mirror. Oh, I can see the locked hands. And I get over there, and he's like letting go. No, technical violation, green, 1 point red, locking hands. I saw it in the mirror. It was the one time. behind them, I was able to make that call. Okay. Near fall situations, here, you want to stay upright as long as possible. So just because he starts turning towards back and it's like at 90 degrees, at 80 degrees, you don't have to like, when he's doing a cheek tilt or something where it's like, okay, well, you know what? Like, yeah, it got a cheek tilt working, okay, it's starting to get closer, closer, you know. So we'll stay upright as long as we can until we need to get down. Okay, all right, now I need to be down here to see where those shoulders are, okay? Like I say here, take calculated risks. You have to see those shoulders in contact with the mat. Do not make a pin call. I know she's got it pinned. I can tell. You can tell when you can see both shoulders. If you can't see both shoulders, you got to move around or hope that it sort of opens up. This happens a lot. You know, you got sort of a reverse hack or something. Well, their arms laying on the mat like that, right? And here's the guy's head. His shoulders on the other side of the arm, right? He's got this reverse hack. Well, I can't see the shoulders unless he's like lifting the head. And okay, now I have a view of the shoulders, right? So when it's like this, sometimes I go, okay, I know he's got him pinned. He's laying on him. That kid's not bridging, you know, but I got to find an angle to see. So take a calculated risk. Sometimes you may go all the way to the other side, like they got a cradle going, and it's sort of like, again, I'm at the head, and then he's got that, you know, arm around the neck, leg, like, and I can't see the shoulders. Like, and over here on the other side, they can see, you know, the knees like that, right? Because you got that kid rolled up, right? And they're, oh, he's been. Everybody over there sees that. I can't. So I gotta, you know, if I can't see it, you know, I'm sitting there, okay, take your calculator risk. Like, go around this. Okay, now I can't because he went from this to this. All right, well, moving around, like, the calculated risk is this. That time I'm in transit, I may be missing something. But, you know, we're trying to do the best we can. So if I spend 2 seconds to get around to the other side and see that cradle, and it turns out to be fruitless because the guy's leg is on there. Right now I can't see because, you know, the guy applying the cradle's got a leg blocking the view of the shoulder from that angle. It's like, oh, crap, I just wasted a couple seconds to get here, and now I gotta go back over here. Well, doing the best you can. Okay? But don't just sit there and look at a fruitless angle. Well, I can't see anything. Well, if you think to yourself, maybe I could if I went over to another angle, go to that other angle. Okay? Now, when we do near fall, an important part of this all is the near fall count. Now, we by the book, the visual arm swing is actually not required. It's a strong recommendation where possible. It's basically required, but they recognize you might be sort of in the middle of something. You've just awarded a takedown and right to the back, and you're like transitioning and trying to signal takedown. And you might be counting without, you know, doing this. That's why they don't say it's 100% requirement, but it really is a requirement. Like, we want people to see, okay? And nowhere do they mention using a verbal count, but that's really a standard. So when I count, it's like 1,001, 1,002, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,001. You know, so every time they come out of criteria, the count stops. And if they go back in the same hold, we start from 0. So I had a young official about 10 years ago. He didn't realize that he had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fortunately, I was working with him. He was doing the JV mat and the thing where I was doing the varsity mat. They did them simultaneously. And I was done with my match, and I saw him over there, and I caught that. So anyway, ideally, if we can do the verbal and do it loud enough, it keeps everybody on board. And the thing is, the technique I'll recommend that you learn, I had to train myself to do this in the middle of my career because I was doing a league tournament a long time ago, and what happened was, I was going 1,001, 1,002, right? So what happened was this: 1,001, 1,002, and I didn't know where near fall. The coach said, "Look, where's the 2-point near fall?" It was a 6-5 match, right? That would make it 7-6. This kid would win. Oh, no near fall. No, you counted twice. No, I didn't get the 2. No, I got the video, and he was right. I did this twice because 1,001, 1,002, I didn't get to 2. I get to 2, and the buzzer's going off as I'm getting ready to do the ooh part of 2. So they see the arm move twice. So the technique I taught myself was I don't wave the arm until I make the count. 1,001, 1,002. When that arm move, I've already made that count. That way, in that situation, it would have been 1,001, 1,002, and you would have never seen my arm move. The whole crowd would, oh, hey, what are you screwing the kid? Where's the 2, Ralph? Come on! So that's the technique I'll recommend to you. You can teach yourself that. Whether you say 1,001 or 1 or whatever, time yourself. I time myself every season with a stopwatch to see whether my count is pretty close to a second. We're not robots. But we don't want to have, this kind of thing going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That took like 2.5 seconds. And now I've awarded a kid a 3-point near fall when he only has earned 2 so far. So you don't want to be quick or too slow. 1. That kid deserved a near fall, and you're like lollygagging. You're too slow. So time yourself, and that way you'll do a good job. So a couple things about the awarding points. Signaling. This is, and practice your signals again. You got your signal chart in the back. Learn to use the proper signals. The Bob trained people do not go on mats and use goofy signals. People across the state, I see using goofy signals. They haven't been through the Bob training. And they don't have people like Bob who go, no, that's not the signal now. Jamal, this is the signal for reversal, not this. So use the signals that are in the publications here, okay? So the thing is, when we award them, here's what I want you to do. So first, I want you to give the signal for what kind of scoring maneuver it is, because I'll just sort of put the whole thing up here, and then we'll talk it through. Because what happens is, what I want to do for the crew and for the crowd and everyone is I want them to know what the points are. And the sort of pseudo standard has always been that 2 reversal green. Now, the problem with that is the junior high scorekeeper goes 2 for green. 2 more for green. You go 2, and they start writing down 2, and then you go reversal. I guess that's 2 more, so 4-0 now. So instead, basically what I figured out was I want to facilitate the scorekeeper who's going to write it down this way, in the case of a near fall, N2 or N3 or even N4. So I'm going to show them that, hey, this near fall, we're going in. So we got 3 near fall green, okay? Because now I want to hold this up a long time, long enough that everybody sees it. So the way I do it is first I'm signaling what it is, that or this, then up come the points. 3 near fall green. Now, we hold it up in one direction for 2 seconds, and then we rotate it crisply 90 degrees in another 2 seconds. And the reason is because if I do this, 3 near fall green, how many fingers am I holding up? If you couldn't hear what I said. Yeah, you don't know until I do that. Now, can you see how many there are? Okay, that's why we rotate. Now, some people rotate it, they do this, 3 near fall green. Could you see how many that was very easily? No, even though what he's trying to do is say, okay, I want to make sure you don't just see like 1 or think it's 2. So I'm rotating. But if you rotate it quickly, like what is that? Was that 2, 3, what? How many fingers has he got up there? So if we just do it very deliberately, 3 near fall green, and then what I do as a last little thing, just make sure everybody sees, because I'm gonna tell you, 99.7% of the time, there's no hurry now. Because these scoring things happen very discreetly, like 99% of the time. It's not like, oh, there's this and then that, and then this and that. It's sort of like, nope. He's got that near fall, like he's laying on top of the guy. They're laying on the mat. It's not like they're in the middle of a scramble. You're like, okay, he came out of a half Nelson, now he's on his belly. You're not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's like, when I sit on that 3 near fall green, and I hold that thing up, now my last actions I do what I call take it around the world, so that everybody sees it one last time from all angles. If you're the coach in that corner or whatever, if you, for some reason, my head's in the way of that or something, and I do this, gives you the chance to see that, and then drop it. So that's nice and deliberate, so that main thing is, number one, your scores table is gonna get it. Because the home book is the official book, or the score sheet in a tournament. That's the official record. So it doesn't matter what the coach saw, the kid, the people on the bench, the people in the crowd, or whatever. Ultimately, if there's some controversy, we're gonna go back to what's been recorded. So I wanna make sure whoever's recording it is getting that. So I wanna hold that thing up long enough that they know, oh, okay, that's 3, and I'm just trying to, as information for everyone else, there it is. Okay? That communication is a part of preventive officiating. It prevents needless controversy. Okay? So train yourself to do that. What'll happen is, like, again, if there is a flurry of scoring, now you're not going to be able to sit there and just sort of, 2 reversal green, and then hold that while the other kid's reversing. So maybe 2 reversal green. Oh, and now we got 2 reversal red. Oh, and then 1001, 1002. Oh, there he's flipping them over. 2 near fall red and 2 reversal green now. Again, I'm counting again, like it could happen. But generally, you'll have time. If you have time, take the time. It helps everybody, right? Calling a fall, like I said, get in position to see the shoulders. Okay. In this case, I'm lucky I have an assistant official who can keep an eye on the clock and see whether or not some illegal hold is happening or something. I can just concentrate on looking at those shoulders. Okay. If I can't see them, all right, see, I had to go around the other side to see better. Okay. And then what I want you to do is keep your hands on the mat. What I don't like, and I'll show you this technique. If I see my hands on the mat, if I see the fall and I get that silent count in my head, because like this near fall situation went on for about 30 seconds before you finally hit it. That's a Keone Gill against Bo McConville. But anyway, that went on for about 30 seconds before I finally called it. So when I'm watching that at the very end there, and it's like 1001, 1002 inside my head, and then first thing I do when I get to a 2 count, blow the whistle. Okay. Then I'll stop the mat after blow the whistle. I don't need to time it. They don't need to be coincident. So if I'm sitting there, in this case, okay, 1001, no. 1001, 1001, 1002. Because the whistle says stop wrestling, and then I can announce to the crowd it's a pin by slapping the mat. Now the reason I don't want to have my hand up and go, here's some reasons why. I'll show you something here. So this is if you don't do it my way, you're in danger of doing what I call touch falls. So here's an example. This is when I was coaching at Bellarmine. This actually happened. I had to talk to their association down there about this, given this series of images. So we're starting at 0, like the little video timer's down here. So start at 0, 37.56 seconds into the video, right? So obviously the girl's sitting on her butt. Now she's starting to turn her back, but we can see that the left shoulder isn't touching. It's not even close. Okay. So we're 1 second into it because we're at 38.55 seconds now. All right. So she's in criteria at that point. Now at 38.98, we're 1.5 seconds in. Now it's getting kind of close. Not quite there, I don't think, but it might be. Like I can't really tell for certain from my angle, just taking video, right? But I can tell now at 1.7 seconds into this, that looks like it's down now. Okay. And then the official is blowing the whistle and signaling the fall for 2.5 seconds into the sequence. So we started at 37.5, we're at 40.03, and that person just called a pin. But if I roll this backwards, it wasn't until about 1.7 seconds in that we really saw that, yeah, that's when her shoulders are both down. Maybe at 1.5 seconds, I don't know. But all I know is that here it is. Those shoulders weren't touching for more than 1 second. Probably less than a second. Yet the official called it. So why did the official call it? Because the official did this. Oh, it's getting close. And just like those wrestlers, when we put them in starting position, we spring load them. When you do this, you're spring loading yourself. Like, uh-oh, your coach sitting in the corner. I just declared that it's that close to being pinned. Now I'm almost kind of committed. I have to call a pin here. Oh, please, would you put her other shoulder down? Please, please, please. And it makes you hurry. Oh, I'm not there yet. Uh-oh, I'm halfway there. Oh, come on. There it is. And that's why he's doing that with less than a second, because he spring-loaded himself. He put that thing up. I noticed that, and that's where I came up with this technique about 8-9 years ago. I was like, keep your hands on the mat. Like, don't tempt yourself. Like, oh, it's almost, oh, there you go. No, not quite. Like, oh, now you're just trying to not embarrass yourself because you're like, oh, please, please, other shoulder. There it is. Like, instead of going, well, there it is. Now count to 2. 1,001, 1,002. Now, blow the whistle and slap it. So 2 seconds is a long time. Like I said, try and hold a flame 1 inch under your arm for 2 seconds. You're going to find out how long 2 seconds really is. It ain't this long. If I hold that flame under your arm for 2 seconds, no, hold it there. I'm not at 2 seconds yet. All right. Awarding escape by the numbers here. In this sequence, you see the offensive wrestler who's in the blue uniform there, green guy. He's starting to lose control. Now, why hasn't he lost control at this point? Let's go back to our control training. Yes, so he kind of doesn't really have restraining power because the guy's like broken his hands apart. He's like, he's not stitching on, but why does he have the position of advantage in this situation, Jamal? Yeah, he's behind him still, which is sort of the more advantageous position. So great, he's starting to lose it though. So I'm watching that and see I'm signaling green's in control right now. That's what I'm doing right now. Green's still in control. So even though we're here, green's still in control. All right, I'm letting the world know. Okay. Then this guy, well, he does turn and face. So what do we got there? Why is he neutral? Lost scope. No advantage, no restraining power. Turned and faced. Okay. So what do I do? Neutral. So I let the world know, yeah, he's got the neutral position because by rule 5-10, escape, the very first thing it says, escape requires him to be neutral, comma, and lost control, and be on reaction time. So first thing is neutral. So neutral. And I learned this from Wallace Chocolate. You know Wallace, right?
Yeah.
He taught me this technique, and I like it. Say neutral first. Like the world, okay, he's broken apart. Like, you gotta wait. Neutral, because now when I want to signal the 1 point escape, I can leave that up again as long as I need to now. Oh, there's one escape and they're neutral. Like, no, neutral is the first thing that happens actually, and because he has to be neutral beyond reaction time. So that's why, again, back to sort of the sequence of things. Like, okay, well, the sequence is first you better get to neutral. Then if you can do it beyond reaction time, theoretically, I might, if you couldn't do it beyond reaction time, I theoretically might go neutral, oh, no escape. He's right back in on him within reaction time. Like, oh, you didn't really get away, I guess. So neutral, and if it's beyond reaction time, now I can say 1 point escape. Okay? So that's the sequence by the numbers. And this entire sequence from here to here was less than 2 seconds. So nobody should be fooled. Oh, you can't do that. It'll take too long. No, it didn't take that long. Neutral, 1 escape red. That's how long it took. That took less than 2 seconds. So that entire sequence, when this kid is actually escaping, Like, there's no, oh, neutral, and now he's already in on a takedown. No. It's that quick. Neutral, one escape red. That's how it went. That's in the state finals. So, yeah. So, again, nice and clear. I get compliments from people, usually a couple times a season, fans, scorekeepers or whatever will come up to me as I'm getting ready to go. And it's like, wow, you're like so easy to follow out there, or your signals are so clear. Like I love the way you call that match. Like I can hear all that stuff. Like these techniques are proven out. Like they work. They don't. You go to the state tournament. Have you ever kept the timer or book at the state?
No, but I've watched.
Yeah.
Like the kids state.
Okay.
I haven't done it.
So the thing is, like the referees, certified referees, work the tables at the state tournament. So you can't see the scores table here, but the guys working at the table over here, keeping the time, the scoreboard and the score sheet, they're referees, and they're watching all of us from around the state officiate. So sometimes, the people in our association, some of them are working tables, and then when we meet after the state tournament's over, and they'll share horror stories like, yeah, that one guy, like I can't understand, he won't hold his signals up or whatever, like he uses weird signals, like they'll tell you the horror stories. So if somebody bothers to say, hey, wow, like I could hear you instructing the wrestler so clearly, or your signals were so easy to see, like they don't need to say that. The reason they say this is because it stands out to them.
You always go from here back down and up to one, or you leave it?
I usually drop them. The bad habit some officials have is to do this. One escape, green. Like that's now the guys that are at the state tournament know better, because we get evaluated and they get marked down for that. So they've learned not to do that. But the thing is, I do it as discrete motions. Neutral, one escape red. See, I want that distinct action. From this to this. That's the reason I do it. All right, violations. So last couple things here. We're going to stop action when a violation happens. There are exceptions. Rule 8-1-2 tells us the exceptions. So the exceptions are this. When a violation happens, you're blowing that whistle, and you're going to penalize somebody or caution them if it's a stall warning or something. But so we won't stop it if the defensive wrestler is stalling. Kid's down and laying on the mat, isn't moving, well, clammed up. We won't stop wrestling because we're not going to get a reset. Like he actually gets helped by a reset in that case. Now he's back in his base, So we don't stop it for that. We don't ever stop it for stalling in the neutral position anymore. So this guy's backing up constantly, playing the edge, like stalling green, we don't stop it. And so stalling by the offensive wrestler, we don't stop when the defensive wrestler stood up. So we're like, he's working. We used to have to stop it to warn for stalling in that situation, or stalling in neutral position, we used to stop it too. And they got away from that because it was kind of sometimes penalized the more aggressive kid. So I'm about to escape, and we didn't, as officials, want to be in this position. Oh, crap, like he's close to getting away, but this guy's not trying to even bring him to the mat. Like, how long do I let this go on? Like, am I gonna stop stalling green? Like, well, he was about to escape. Now he's back down here. So that's why we don't stop it when the defensive wrestler's on his feet. Okay. In a pinning situation, if the defensive wrestler is the one creating the violation, we won't stop it. So yeah, actually, hands to the face technically is not a violation. Choking or what do you call it, prying the head or whatever, circulation, those are illegal, or gouging the eyes. Actually, this isn't technically illegal, but if he's pushing and prying the head, then it's considered pry. So just the fact that he's doing this doesn't mean, unless he's doing that, or doing that, or something like that. So anyway, if the defensive wrestler is doing it during the pinning situation, we don't want to penalize guys getting a pin. Now, the thing is, we aren't going to let that perpetuate it's dangerous. Gouging his eyes, oh, he's getting a pin, like, don't stop, like, he plucks one eyeball out, no, we're gonna stop that. Locked hands by the offensive wrestler during an escape reversal, so again, we're gonna let the defensive wrestler have his chance to finish that maneuver, right? Oh, you locked hands, well, if I stop this action to penalize him, like, I'm robbing him of his chance to finish that switch or whatever, get the other two, so he can get the locked hands point plus earn the reversal. We don't want to stop him for that. And then during a takedown, if the guy's like grabbing his uniform to try to stop him from getting around, hey, there's two green takedown, and we also got one green for the technical violation, grabbing clothing during the takedown. Now, the thing to understand though, even if we let the situation go on, you never let an illegal hold or unsportsmanlike act perpetuate. So, we don't get to go, well, he's getting pinned, he's choking the guy, but I don't want to stop pinning situations, so, he's getting his money's worth on that choke. He's been holding it for the last 20 seconds. No, it's like, no, there's another one. Like, we do not let the act continue, even though we may let the situation continue. So, something like, oh, he's crying, hey, stop crying his head. There's a second penalty. Like, there's a third one. Like, we're not just gonna go, oh, well, it's not like locked hands, where we go, okay, well, if you locked hands, you're gonna get penalized, so you might as well hold on to it and stop this escape. And then we'll stop action and award the penalty. You don't do that for an illegal hold or unsportsmanlike act. So if the kid starts cussing at the other kid or using a slur or something, you don't just sit there and go, wow, that's a really long profane slur. Like, oh, you went on for 30 seconds. Well, that's one. No, it's like, stop that. Stop it. Every time I tell them stop, that's another. Like, okay, now you're eliminated.
Mhm.
So we don't want to let them keep doing the illegal thing in the case of the illegal hold because it's a safety thing. Okay. All right. Potentially dangerous. The definition of potentially dangerous by the rule book is, it's a hold or situation that's taking something to its normal limit. So the shoulder can only go so far, right? The neck or whatever, like, so we're watching the limbs and we're watching for normal movement. And when something's getting close to that, we can watch and listen to the wrestler, like, that can help to let you know something's getting uncomfortable or too far. And we can verbalize in these situations. And one time, like I said, we can talk directly to a wrestler. All right, Top, careful of that shoulder. Don't move it in that direction any further. Careful with that, So, for safety purposes, we can tell. Now, we're not going to coach him like, hey, move it down a little further. There you go. Cinch it up. There you go. Now turn him with it. We're not trying to help him win. We're just trying to help him not hurt this kid, right? But be ready to stop it the moment if you're uncomfortable, stop it, regardless. Nobody's going to criticize an official that's errs on the side of safety. Like I said in my pre-meet, I want both wrestlers to walk off the mat in as good a shape as they walked on. I don't want to be so slow or, tough it up, kid. Oh, oops, and here comes the stretcher. So, if you're not comfortable, you stop it. My advice to you, if a kid says, I can't breathe, stop it. Even if you don't mind. Just trying to get off his back or whatever, like, just stop it. I don't want you in this stage of your career to make judgments about safety that could be wrong judgments. So just stop. But with the potentially dangerous stuff, talk them through it if you have to. Careful with pick the kid up, careful, bring him down safely now, talk them through it. But if the risk is untenable or you're not comfortable or it's turned illegal, you're gonna stop it. Okay. And then end of match. Watch for unsportsmanlike conduct, okay? So, like I said in the pre-meet, like, hey, good handshakes before and after. Don't shove your opponent, don't swear, don't. So be on the lookout for that. Now, use your discretion when it comes to unsportsmanlike conduct because it's a judgment. What's unsportsmanlike you versus him versus me? Some people, they're gonna think, oh, if somebody uses the word damn, I'm gonna penalize it. And other guys are like, oh, wasn't the F word. Or it wasn't F you. Like, okay, so use your judgment, but consider these things when it comes to unsportsmanlike conduct for a wrestler, especially, or it could be a coach too, but what is it that the kid just did that's causing you to even think about it, right? Okay? And why did the kid do that? So, second question, who else potentially heard or saw this? That can make a difference in your decision to enforce it. Third thing is, what will happen if I don't enforce it? So, example A, kid gets pinned, he rolls over and he pounds his fist in the mat, curses into the mat. Now, he just got pinned. He's mad. I get it. And I'm empathetic. Now I ask myself, who else heard or saw that? Besides me. Maybe the opponent. But grandma maybe didn't really hear that. And again, he just rolled over. Like he just did it into the mat. So you know what? If I don't call this, there's not gonna be enough. Oh, ref, come on! You know, like they didn't even know what happened maybe. So you know what? Come on, let's get up, shake hands now. So nobody saw it. There's a good reason why the kid did that. Now, like I was telling her a story in the state tournament, kid, I didn't call unsportsmanlike on him. I maybe could have, and maybe in the aftermath, I probably should, if I had, I would have probably lit the fuse of the coach and would have exploded. But the thing is, if other people can hear or see something, so I was doing the league finals, the old SPSL North, Kentwood heavyweight versus Danny Shelton from Auburn, who Danny Shelton plays in the NFL now, for the New England Patriots, I think. And Shelton's winning, they're neutral, they've been both hit for stalling during the match, and then Shelton's stalling again because he's winning and not doing anything, no action, or for takedown wrestlers, he's not doing anything. So I start throwing up the green stalling, and at literally the instant I'm doing this, he finally decides to blast double. So I'm already on my way to penalize himself, and he blasts double into this Kentwood kid and drive him out of bounds, out of bounds, and that's stalling and green. It didn't look very good, the optics, right? So, well, you just drove that kid, mad over there, like, stalling green, and when Shelton gets up, he sees it, you yell. This is the finals. We're on one mat. He yells that. I was like, okay, who else potentially heard and saw it? Everybody. What would happen if I don't do anything about that? That's when people want to say, come on, hey, get control, ref. Like, so there, it's like stalling green. All right, unsportsmanlike conduct on green, 1 point red, like that. So you got 1 point for the stalling, you got 1 point for the unsportsmanlike. Now we're tied. So that's the sequence you're going to go. Those are two sort of extreme examples, right? Because the reason you're going to be sort of a little slower to call unsportsmanlike conduct, and the reason I don't want you to get into coach misconduct or stalling, these are controversial calls. And then when you're less experienced ref, I don't want you to have to go through the heat of how come you called my kid for stalling? Oh, come on, you're calling that unsportsmanlike. Every kid does that. He pounded him, he got pinned. Jamal, jeez, haven't you ever wrestled? That was an important match to the kid. He's not going to state. That was his goal. So use your judgment, and again, make sure when you make these kind of more controversial calls that it's clear to everybody, or that I can't just let that pass. Kid took his head guard, flinged it at the table or the wall. All right, like the whole world just saw that. Unsportsmanlike conduct red, that's one minus 1 team point against red team, Be on the lookout for that stuff, because you don't want to set the wrong precedent or example to the other kids, and you might have 10 other matches to go. If you let something like that go, you're likely to see more of it from other kids, okay? Make sure they both comply. What I do, my technique, and maybe I shouldn't do this, but I do it anyway, is like, I take their hand, the hand that's nearest to me, and I'm holding it, and then I watch them shake hands, because sometimes what's going to happen is I've got this kid's hand, he doesn't want to shake hands or do a proper handshake, and I've got his hand like, no, let's go, shake hands. So I'm giving him a chance to do good and the right thing. I go, no, shake, let's go, shake his hand. Like, I know you're mad, just there. Now I'll let you go. So make sure they get a proper handshake, not just I had a kid in finals in middle school, Kent Middle School League tournament who was Dalton Myers or whatever. He thrashes the kid, tech balls him in like a round and a half. When he first, got ready to wrestle the first period, he does one of these with the left hand, and I say, no, we shake with the right hand here. Use your right hand. So then he thrashes the kid, and then he's doing this thing again. I go, no, with your right hand. I told you this already. And he was being a jerk. But I made him do a proper handshake. Okay? And in that case, actually his dad came over and I said, what was going on out there? I said, well, this is what happened. He goes, and he walked away. And a minute later, he shows up with his son and goes, my son has something to say to you. I'm sorry, sir. So that's okay. And I said, you're a really good wrestler. Like, you don't need to do stuff like that. You just dominate that day. Like, win with class. Show the respect to your opponent. Okay, that's all. That's why I want you to do that. I'm sorry, sir. So in there's a case where coach does the right thing. Coach doesn't go, who are you telling my kid that for? What about that other kid? What about that guy 2 matches ago? Like, all right. Okay. All right, so we wrap up here.
Yeah, you guys are all done here. So we have more tables in here, chairs in here. Do you guys need this?
All right, so that's math mechanics.
Um,
What